As the president said, on March 4th, we're going to release detailed guidance to the banks.
How about this, President and new administration? Why don't you put up a website to have people vote on the internet as a referendum to see if we really want to subsidize the losers' mortgages?
This is what media really should be about, not just to do news, but to activate people to take action. And
folks, you need to get on the phone now, early and often.
Well, you know what the Chinese are doing to the businessmen behind their milk scandal? They're putting them to death.
Wake up, America. Our republic is being hijacked by liars and thieves. On March 4th, 2009, Obama will announce their plans to address the housing crisis. We must let our voices be heard. Add your comments or a video to this video and forward to the President, your representatives, as well as family, friends, and associates. Demand that the President and representatives uphold their oath of office to faithfully execute our laws and protect our Constitution. Criminals must be indicted and disgorged, not rewarded.
The IRS can immediately determine who committed fraud by comparing their loan applications with their tax returns. Those borrowers should not be helped. Executives should be indicted, disgorged, and removed from office immediately, along with their regulators.
Take from 110 million American families, take their hard-earned money, and we bail out these lenders and these speculators, many of which are guilty of criminal or fraudulent acts.
My good friend from Alabama, and both of us go to the Department of Justice, the SEC, and begin to file legal action.
But we're not going to change that until we put some people in jail.
Sure, well, that's true.
We have got to take...
I agree with that.
We've got to take the schemers who have conspired.
Congresswoman Waters, I agree 100% that the schemers should be placed in jail. Some of the schemers are the seller-funded down payment assistance programs that place people in homes they cannot afford. There is nothing wrong with borrowers sacrificing to save up a down payment and have some skin in the game.
My hope is that you will be answering those questions in court someday.
Rights. Put them all in jail.
Now, sure. In this case, the firefighters like Paulson, who spent over 30 years at Goldman Sachs, may also technically be the arsonists. But that just means he knows a lot about fires. And yes, when there's a fire in your kitchen, you don't want someone stopping the firefighters from stealing your stereo.
I have the greatest confidence in the resiliency, flexibility, and strength of our economy and our capital markets.
Both Paulson and Bernanke continued to insist all was well in the face of mounting evidence that the housing market had turned toxic.
The impact of the problems in the subprime market seems likely to be contained.
Contained. That was their word, contained. And meaning that it was not going to spread. It wasn't going to infect the rest of the economy.
What should be done about regulators who simply fail to regulate, like the Fed's hands-off stance towards subprime mortgages?
Have HOPA legislation, which passed in 1994, which mandated that the Fed assume responsibility of dealing with deceptive and fraudulent practices. I have been critical of the Fed for not acting, particularly when we know that 3.5 years ago, Fed staff was becoming aware of this emerging problem.
The Fed, for example, had no direct supervisory authority over what was happening in most subprime lenders and therefore could not directly see what was going on there.
Chairman Bernanke, you must stop with the lies. What about all the subsidiaries of the banks you were supposed to be regulating?
Moreover, if the Fed made rules, then the rules were not enforced by the Fed. They're enforced supposedly by state regulators, 50 state regulators.
Hopefully you're familiar with this article. Quote, not only did the Bush administration do nothing to protect consumers, it embarked on an aggressive and unprecedented campaign to prevent states from protecting their residents from the very problems to which the federal government was turning a blind eye.
This meltdown is the worst crisis to confront America since 9/11. And like 9/11, no one could have seen this coming. Although there was that memo.
I, Michael Blomquist, have been warning the regulators, legislators, law enforcement, and media for years about the rampant fraud in housing. More information about my allegations can be found at michaelblomquist.com or discountrealty.com. It was recently discovered that the SEC was told to stand down from investigating Stanford. I was told by numerous FBI field agents that they were also told to stand down from prosecuting fraud for housing. These scandals and the perpetrators must be brought to justice immediately.
Failure of the first payment on 18% of the mortgages in 2006. I can't believe that somebody didn't say, wow, we may have a problem if 18% of the people we're giving mortgages to don't make the first installment payment.
A lot of it was fraud.
This is a mess. Because I gotta tell you, something doesn't smell right. Pay option arm. The problems posed by countrywide aggressive use of no-doc or liar loans.
So let's stop pointing the finger at each other and let's move forward in a productive way to help each other get out of this housing mess that we're in.
We're in the unknown, but we're doing it with many zeros, trillions of dollars.
Understood.
We are a nation of laws. Pointing fingers is exactly what must be done. The president promised accountability, and that promise must be upheld.